What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Austin Show. Today we're looking at some Hasbro Marvel Legends retro card back X-Men figures. So all of these are really cool and exciting to get. So first off, we have Beast. So we have, of course, blue version of Beast here that comes with a lab coat and some lab things there. So that looks really cool again on that nice card back. And then for the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary, we have Toad. So that's pretty cool to get Toad. He comes with the nice card back piece and base. So Toad's continue on the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary celebration. So we've had the Hulk, Captain America, and Iron Man. So now we have Toad from that series. That looks really cool. Love that look for him. And then in the back we have the animated series version of Apocalypse, so in the colors as he appears in the X-Men animated series of the blue and the purple. So that looks really cool. So it's another version of Apocalypse, so we don't really need him, but it's cool to go along with those X-Men VHS versions we've been getting. So that's pretty cool to have him as well. So we have these three versions of X-Men characters all on the retro card back. So pretty cool for all of these. So I'm excited for all of them. So let me get them out of the packaging and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Beast. Of course, his real name is Dr. Henry Hank McCoy, and he was born a mutant with the physique and strength and musculature similar to an ape, but he was gifted with superhuman intellect. But after being outed as a mutant, he was recruited by Charles Xavier, who was forming his X-Men, and while working as a genetic researcher, he was able to isolate the hormonal extract that created mutations into a serum, and Hank drank the serum that caused gray fur to start growing all over his body. So that's when we first see Beast with all the gray hair, as well as his muscles expanded, ears extended, claws grew, and canine teeth became fangs. And then during an encounter with Quasimodo, who drained Beast of his life force, and that changed his fur from gray to blue, so giving us Beast that we see here. And of course, Beast has superhuman strength, speed, agility, reflexes, and senses, as well as a healing factor along with claws and fangs, and of course his genius intellect, as I already mentioned. So this is a cool Beast. Again, it's that retro card back, and it has that classic Beast look to it. Like, this is by far my favorite looking Beast, just with the overall design. The face, I think, looks amazing with the long blue hair going there to the points in the back, as well as his point ears. And then we got his more like ape style face, just with the overall like protruding eyebrows, the fangs hanging out of the bottom, and just his overall face design just looks awesome there, of course, in the all blue color. And then we get the body, which is going to be the same as the Beast we've had before, and of course I'll show you that, but the body's going to be exactly the same. Has the belt with the X-Men, so there for the like underwear piece, he's got that, and then he's got the claws there on his hands, so you can see that, and the claws there on his feet as well. And as I said, this is body we've seen twice before already, and I'll show you that. The only difference is this time it comes with some more accessories. So we get this lab coat, so we just have this fabric white coat that we can put on him, so it makes Beast in like his lab version, since he's, you know, smart and stuff and worked as a geneticist. So it's cool that he comes with the lab coat. Of course, I wish we had like a belt or something to help keep it closed, because I think it looks a little bit better than it just being open. But it is cool that he does come with that, and of course we'll see more of his accessories, but for doing the movements and stuff, we'll take the coat off. So here we have Beast without his coat, and we've seen it with these two versions of Beast. So these are the more recent versions. So we have the gray Beast that we got, and I believe these were maybe both on retro card backs or similar. I know at least the gray Beast was, but we have the gray version of Beast, again, exact same body design, and then the blue version of him as well. But I think I like this new version the best, just because I like the overall colors more than this one has a lot of darkness to it. And I think the center one looks more like the Beast I always picture, so I definitely like this new one the most. But with this we can do the movement, so his head can twist all the way around. He can look down that far and up that far, and neck's a little bit stiff, but pretty good movements there overall. Then we get the shoulders that can come up pretty close to 90. He has the fur, so you're only going to get so far, and has the butterfly joint, so pretty good movement, can go really far back there, so that's awesome, and can rotate all the way around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that bends about that far, which I'm surprised it even bends that far, because, you know, it's a pretty small joint in here, but with both the combinations it gets up pretty close, so over 90 at least, so that's really nice. The wrist can twist all the way around and flex back and forth. We have the upright crunch, so he can crunch back and forth. Not much crunching in with the fur, it's probably difficult, but crunch back and forth, and can twist side to side. And then we have the lower crunch with the cutouts there, so he can crunch even further forward and further back, so pretty good crunching for him. Then we get the hips that can come up to 90, out to the side. Oh wow, he can do the splits. We have a thigh twist that's pretty stiff but can twist all the way around. A double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, not far from kicking his butt. And then we have the foot that can flex back and forth. It's kind of stiff, so hard to move, and can twist side to side, with the toe joint on the end. So we don't get these too often with Marvel Legends, but we got the toe joint on the end there for Beast. And so overall he's pretty good, you know, has really good movements for a bigger figure. You know, I expect to, you know, have less movements, but they put in the extra joints and it allows him to move around pretty well, which fits for Beast because, you know, he's super agile. So that's really cool. They were able to give Beast as many movements. So this figure overall is really good. And I mentioned he comes with a number of accessories. So first we get an additional head. So we have an angry Beast here, so with his mouth open and yelling. So that's really nice. Of course, I love that version of Beast, but getting one in an angry form is always great, so that's an awesome head. And we get some additional hands, so we get a hand here that's just like a standard grip hand, and then the open palm hand that people like to use to make him do like a handstand and stuff. So that was pretty nice as well, and he already has a fist and then like a grip hand there. And finally, going along with the lab coat, we also get some experiments. So we get some bottles here, so different glass bottles for like a lab stuff. So we get this bottle with X Gene 6 labeled on it, so that's nice. Got some pink liquid and then some green liquid for this bottle as well. So those look really cool. And then with the way they're designed with the little holes in the top, we did go ahead and take some of the little smoke effects we've got with other stuff, and you can pop them in there. So they're kind of tight, but you can also put those just to add a little bit more details to these. So there's like some smoke coming out of the bottles if you want that as well, which is pretty cool. But I can assume he can hold on to the bottles with some of the hands. I don't really know if it'll work out too well, but let me see if I can get them in his hands. So there I got the bottles in his hand. So that one he's able to grasp pretty easily. And then this one, just using this hand, just kind of shoved it in between the fingers, and it's kind of holding onto it, but one little movement and they would fall out pretty easily. But there you can have Beast holding that. So of course, if we got the lab coat back on him in those, it looked like he's doing some sort of experiment. So that's pretty cool overall. And like I said, this is by far the best looking Beast figure, and I just love this so much. And next up, we've got Toad, whose real name is Mortimer Toneby, which is a deformed baby that was abandoned by his parents. And at the orphanage, he was tormented by the other children for his ugliness, weird physique, and leaping abilities. But he was so desperate for affection that he developed a subservient personality that would obey anyone that he thought cared about him. And one day, he was saved from a lynching by Magneto and was recruited into the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and given the name Toad. So he became a loyal follower of Magneto. But he has superhuman leaping ability, agility, reflexes, and durability, as well as a flexible bone structure, so allows him to get in all sorts of positions, as well as healing factor, UV and infrared vision, pheromone secretion, a prehensile tongue, acidic saliva, and can control amphibians. So he looks pretty cool here and pretty like much the classic look of Toad that I always know. Maybe colors a little bit different, but this, same outfit design. It's almost like based off a Jester. And reading up, it says that Magneto kind of treats him as the Jester of the Brotherhood, so that he's always there for like comic relief and everything. But as they said, he's super ugly and his face is pretty ugly. It's not the best looking like face design stuff. He's got all sorts of weird marks and dirtiness and all sorts of creepiness, a mouth full of teeth there and creepy looking eyes, his brown hair that's nice, pretty nice design wise and stuff, nice details in there, and then the yellow and really light purple color outfit. So the yellow is like spandex all the way through, then the light purple color piece, cuff piece, underwear with the belt, and then shoes on the bottom that do look like Jestry type shoes and stuff there. So overall, it looks pretty cool, pretty simple and basic, but like I said, this just for the classic like Toad look. I love it so much. But we can do his movements, so his head twists all the way around and he can look down that far and up that far. So not the best movements, and his neck is really stiff in there, but the shoulders can come up, and it's going to be hard to fight around with this, can come up to 90, has a butterfly joint back and forth and rotate around. We get a bicep twist, the double elbow joint that bends pretty much all the way up on itself, so that's awesome. Wrist can twist around and flex back and forth, but again with this cuff piece it's going to be hard to move the hand, but it does flex back and forth there. We get the up ab crunch, so he can crunch back and forth, so pretty good crunching back and forth there, and can twist all the way around. And then he has the lower crunch as well to get even further forward, which it's hard to get some of the movements probably with like the belt and stuff. It's hard, but he can flex back and forth, so has pretty good movements in there. Then we get the hips that come up to 90 and out to the side, not far from doing the splits, and he does have drop down hips, so they do drop down, so you can probably get even higher higher movements and out to the side and stuff, so really good for that. The thigh can twist all the way around, the double knee joint that bends that far, he's pretty much kicking his own butt. And then we get the foot that flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So with those hips and stuff, Toad's able to squat down pretty good. Obviously it's not the easiest to like try and get into the stand up in this position or anything, but it is cool that he can get squat down kind of like a Toad and get his legs brought up pretty high, but he won't stand up doing it and stuff. But pretty good movements there for his leaping, that the figure can bring some of that out and everything, so that is pretty cool. But for additional accessories, we get an additional head, so with the tongue sticking out, so he has the really long tongue much like a frog, so we have this. So let's go and switch his head out for this. So there's that head on Toad, so that looks really crazy but awesome at the same time, so that is awesome. He came with that head. We also get some additional hands. We get some hands like the wall crawling hands, so the splayed out finger hands, of course, that match, so we can switch out if we want instead of the fist hands. He also comes with some frogs, so we get two little frogs here, so they look pretty cool. So we have a green frog and a brown frog, so we have these that we can just sit along with him at his feet feet, or if we put those other hands on, we could put these in his hands or whatever. But both of these little frogs look really cool. So nice little frog figures that they comes with. And finally, we get the base for the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary. So we have the Marvel Legends base there that we can pop them on, as well as the display. So over there we got the X-Men comic cover there, so that looks pretty cool. So it's got the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, so like the first iteration of the group there with all the different characters. And then around on the back we also have like a swampy like picture. So let me put him on the base with this. So there I have Toad posed up on the base like he's kind of leaping through the swamps and stuff. So that looks really cool and awesome. That of course he comes with the card back that we can switch and pose up with him and stuff. So pretty nice to have him there. But now that we have Toad, we can add him in with the rest of our Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So there we have our version of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants all together. So nice group of X-Men villains here, and I think they all look really good. And all we're missing is that new Avalanche figure coming out, so we'll have him to throw in here at some point to expand our ranks of the Brotherhood. But all of them look really cool here, and awesome to add Toad in here with this set. And finally, we have Apocalypse, or Insabunure, from the X-Men animated series, but he doesn't have the cell shading like the VHS box versions that we're getting, but he is in that style where he's got the purple, mostly all purple outfit with the blue details, and of course the Apocalypse looking face and stuff, but still looks like Apocalypse and pretty similar to ones we've had in the past. Just the colors, like I said, is based off that animated style, but he still looks pretty cool here. But Apocalypse is considered the world's first mutant, and he was abandoned as a baby because of the gray color of his skin and his blue lips, but was saved by a group called the Sandstormers who recognized his potential power, and over the years his power began to fully emerge, and one day he had a vision of what the world could be and decided to destroy the current one to build a new one in his image. And so in the show we see he created a device that will turn mutants into a slave known as the Horseman. And some of his powers is that he's immortal, he has superhuman strength and durability, he has telepathy and mental powers, shape-shifting abilities, and can morph his arms into swords, blasters, and shields. Overall he looks awesome here. I love the colors of the darker purple with the blue. I think it just stands out, nice contrast and works well together. And then of course the Apocalypse head with his gray skin and blue designs of like the lips, and then the headpiece are covering there as well. And overall looks cool, but a nice evil menacing head that looks pretty awesome there with the teeth gritted. But like I said, I just love this purple and blue, just stands out a lot. We have the tubes that feed into his suit and stuff. Again, don't know what all they do, but old ones have had it and this one has as well. So the tubes connecting into his belt and coming up into his arm pieces there, and the big blue piece up on his chest, the A on his belt of course for Apocalypse, and the blue big heavy metal boots there at the bottom as well. So he just looks really cool overall. But we can do his movements, so his head can twist there side to side. You can probably get it close to going all the way around, but you have to fight around the collar. But he can look down that far and up that far. So not the best movements, but again mostly hindered because of this collar. But the shoulders can come up close to 90, at least that far. Maybe you can force it up a little bit higher there and can rotate around, but of course you have to worry about the cords. But we get the bicep twist, the single elbow joint that bends to about 90 there. No rotation or anything in this, but the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth a little. And of course if you do any real movements, the tube just kind of pop out. But then we have his ab crunch, so he's got the cutouts there so he can crunch forward and crunch back. Not the easiest to crunch, but he does crunch, and he can twist around at the waist. But the hips can come up to 90 and out to the side. He's not far from doing the splits either, but he's got a thigh twist that twists around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, which isn't too bad. And then we get the foot that flexes back and forth and can twist side to side. So overall not bad for a big figure. You know, he does have limitations, especially in like the arms and stuff, but for a big figure I thought he'd be much worse, but overall he's pretty good, so that is awesome. And with Apocalypse we've had him multiple times before, so we have this version which I believe was the old Build-A-Figure, which shares a lot of similarities with this figure. Like I see the feet are pretty much exactly the same. Some other stuff looks pretty similar, but it's a relatively mostly different figure. But we have this older version, and then we also have the Age of Apocalypse version of Apocalypse, so weird colors and stuff, so it kind of fits a little better with this because the colors being off and different and everything. But this one's definitely the shortest out of them, but I really love this new one just because the colors. I love the colors most, but of course the one back here is the most classic version of Apocalypse for me. But with this Apocalypse we get accessories, so we get an additional head, so we have a mouth closed version, so if you don't want to have the teeth gritted there, but we just have that version, and I think I like the teeth more. We get some fist hands, so if you don't want to have the open like palm hands, we get a set of fist hands there in the purple. And finally we get one of his handguns, so as mentioned his hands can turn into guns. We get one of those here, so looks pretty cool for this, that we can switch his hand out. So there's the gun on his hand, and it's cool that it still has the piece to put the tube in. I don't think I got it in all the way there, but it still has that, but you just pull the hand off and you have to take the gauntlet off too to get it up there. So that's cool. He's got that gun now on his hand, and with that gun we also get some effects. So we have this large effect, it looks like it kind of been up, but this large blast effect, and then we also have these two little blast effects as well that we can stick into the little gun. So let's go and put these in. So there's the two little blast effects in there, and then since since we just have the one, we just pick whichever hole. I'll probably put it up in the top one. So there is that blast effect coming out of the gun, which is pretty cool that it comes with that. So add some more nice details and stuff to this. So overall, that looks cool. Having the Apocalypse with the hand that we can switch out with the gun and stuff, that just looks awesome. So it's pretty nice to have this Apocalypse. And of course, I forgot to grab our animated style X-Men to put along with this, but still looks pretty cool. Like I said, it'd be awesome if he had the cell shading, so it'd go even more with that set. But it's still awesome that he comes in those colors and has the gun effect and stuff, since that's something different. But overall, he looks awesome there for this version of Apocalypse. Well, that's going to be it for our Marvel Legends X-Men Retro card back figures, where we got Beast that has a little bit of a different look with him, and then also came with a lab coat and the 2 jars there. We got the 20th anniversary version of Toad, which is really cool. I love this Toad figure a lot. And then the X-Men animated series style version of Apocalypse there, of course, all on those retro card backs, which are really cool. And great figures all around for this set. I like each of them all individually, and definitely my favorite version of Beast and Apocalypse, and then the Toad, since we don't have any older versions, is really great to have him now. So all of these figures are awesome, and I think they're all really cool, so I highly recommend them. But let me know what you thought of these figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed my review, let me know with a thumbs up. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.